Hi, this is Nick from SlitherSense. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get your new SlitherSense system up and running quickly. Here on the desk, I have one gateway and one sensor. I'm going to be running through this process with just these two devices just to speed things up a little bit. The gateway comes in this white box here. This is a Uline Indestructo box. No printing, all stickers. Reduce, reuse, recycle. And feel free to do what you want with it. Same with the SS1 sensor, comes in this small 2x2x4 box. Inside the box for the sensor, for this sensor, you're going to have the sensor itself. You're going to have a piece of information here. It's got our name, URL, city, and on the back is a QR code that takes you to the getting started documentation. That's what I'm running through here in this video. You will also have a piece of 3M very high bond tape. This tape is used for affixing the sensor to a glass wall inside a terrarium or vivarium. There are also flanges here if you need to screw it into some sort of wood. But we do include the VHB because most likely these are going to be attached to glass or some sort of plastic. All right, so for the gateway, this is our gateway. It's 2.5 inches square by about an inch tall. It is powered by standard 5-volt USB. It's about 100 milliamps whenever it's running. We have two holes here for factory and reset. You can get information on those in the documentation. Inside the box with the gateway is going to be this cable. This is a standard USB A to C Type C cable. We are not including the 5-volt power supply. Now, everyone seems to have these things laying around. However, we do offer them for sale if you do need one. We're just trying to save a few dollars, which we are passing on to you by not including this power supply. There will also be a piece of VHB for the gateway. We're not including screws for these flange mounts right here. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to scan the QR code. I'm going to open up my camera here. This is an Android phone. I'm going to scan that QR code, and it's going to show me the web address docs.slithersense.com. I tap on that, and it will take me immediately to the getting started documentation. This is the quick start documentation that I'm running through here. We create an account, install the app, do the physical setup, connect the gateway to some Wi-Fi, claim our sensors, create a pet, assign the pet and the sensors to a vivarium, set the temperature and humidity recommendations, and then that's it. You're up and running from that point. Let's start with creating our account. We can see here, if you go to slithersense.io/setup, it will take you to the page to create your account. I'm going to create my agree to the terms and conditions and then tap get started. We do have to verify that we own the email address that we are signing up as, so I'm going to wait for that email to come in. It just came in. Let's go ahead and tap on that. Please verify your email address. We'll click on the link. And we have verified our email address. Thank you. You're welcome. I have no devices. I have no pets. So I need to do that. Let's go back to our documentation. And next up is install the app. So for Android and iOS, there's a link down here for Android or iOS. This is the Android app. I already have it installed. Let's go ahead and open it up. This app serves three purposes. It gates data. So, well, let's start out with it's listening. So it's listening for data from the sensors, and it is showing you what it hears in real time. The device that I am doing this demonstration with is ID 340161, which we see listed the third one down in the list. So it's 75.24 degrees Fahrenheit as read by that sensor. Next thing it does is it gates data. So it does take the information that it hears and it sends it to the platform up in the cloud. However, it doesn't do it in the background, so it only happens when the app is running. And finally, it allows you to set up your gateway. So the Wi-Fi information needs to be sent to the gateway somehow. And this app does that when you tap on Setup Gateway up top. You would specify the password for the wireless network that your phone is currently connected to, and that information would be transmitted to your device. Next up in the documentation is the physical setup. So we need to set up the gateway and the sensors. We need to provision the Wi-Fi on the gateway, and we need to turn on the sensors. Let me pull up my camera and we'll start with the sensors. So these are the sensors. There's a button on the back. This is the power button. If you hold it down for 3 seconds, the device will turn on, and if you hold it down for 5 seconds, it will turn off. Let me get rid of that. Alright, so we'll hold it down for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and we see the blinking right there. So we'll blink once per second whenever the device is turned on. To turn it off, you're going to hold that down for 5 seconds. And you will get the fast blink. Oh, that wasn't 5 seconds. Alright, so it'll blink fast 8 times, and that will turn off. So this device is currently turned off. Let me turn it back on. 3 seconds. Alright, so this device is on now. It'll blink once per second. For the gateway, you're going to plug it in with standard USB cable, and it will start blinking red. Red means that it doesn't have the Wi-Fi information that it needs in order to properly connect to the network. So that's where the app comes in. Let's go ahead and open up the SlitherSense app. And your device, your phone, needs to be attached to the network that you want to connect the gateway to. We open up the app and click on Setup Gateway. We can see I'm connected to this wireless network called Stilgar, and I'm going to type in the password for that network. And I will hit connect. So it is broadcasting that information to the gateway right now. We can see that provisioning was successful. And if we go back and look at the gateway itself, it should start blinking different colors. So yellow means that it's rebooting. And now it is booting up. It is currently teal. So it is looking for time. Whenever it blinks red, green, blue like that, it is done. It is successfully connected, and it will blink green every 15 seconds. So this device is actually up and running right now. The gateway is doing its job. And our device here is currently turned on. If we go back to our app, we can see, hit close here, this device, its ID is 340161. We do see that in the list there. 77.29 degrees Fahrenheit. It's the third one in the list. Going back to the documentation, our next step, we have install the devices in the vivarium. I'm not going to run through that here in this demo. Next up, connect gateway to Wi-Fi. We already did that. Now we have to claim our sensors. So we're going to go back to the application and we're going to tap on the device that we are holding. So I'm currently holding 340161. I've already created my SlitherSense account. So when I tap on this, it's going to open my browser and it's going to pre-populate the device ID. We see right there, 340161, and we need to give it a name. So let's call this Basque and hit submit. So I have now claimed this device as my own, and it shows up here in the devices list, 340161. It is online, and we have some information from it. So you would repeat this process with all 3 or 2 devices that you have in your possession so that you own them. They are associated with your SlitherSense account. Our next step is to create a pet. So let's go back to SlitherSense.io. And we are going to go to the menu, Pets, Add a Pet. I'm going to create a pet called Mike. Hit submit. I need to select the type of pet. So we have frogs and tortoise and turtle and lizard. And let's go with a bearded dragon. Let's go with Pogona viticeps. Now let's go with the Komodo dragon. All right, so we select Komodo dragon there. We can set the date of birth. Whenever you select a reptile type up top, it will suggest an icon for you. You can change this to whatever you want. For example, if I go to turtle or tortoise, so let's go with Reeves turtle, we can see that turtle gets selected for us. Let's go ahead and save this, and we have now created a pet, and it will show us our list of pets. This is Mike, and he is a turtle. Back in the documentation, our next step is to assign our sensors and the pet to the vivarium, and then set temperature and humidity recommendations. So let's do that. Let's go back to SlitherSense.io. And we're going to go to our locations, all locations, and we see our default location, default vivarium. We'll click on edit. All right, we can change the name, we can change glass, various metrics for our thing, set the time zone, sunset, sunrise time, minimum nighttime temperature. We want to assign a pet as well as the sensor, or all of our sensors. So we're going to choose our pet here. We choose Mike. This set pet type recommendations is going to take the recommendations for that particular pet type and apply it to the various zones within the vivarium. So we have 3 zones in our default vivarium. We have bask, warm, and cool. Whenever I select set pet type recommendations, it's going to look at the type of that pet. This is a Reeves turtle. Hit set pet type recommendations. It grabs those recommendations from the service, and then it will fill in the various zone temperature maximums and minimums for that particular pet type. So for a turtle, temperature should never get above 95 degrees Fahrenheit in the basking area. We have the warm area. You can change the type of area from bask, warm to cool. We also need to associate our sensors. So I only claimed 1 sensor. So we see that device listed here. I'll choose that bask sensor, the one that I just claimed. That's with ID 340161. And then we would do the same for the other devices that we have claimed. I only claimed 1. So let's go ahead and move on and hit save. And then we can go home. And we will see that our device is now associated with a particular zone in our default vivarium. So that is the absolute minimum required to get up and running very quickly. Let's look back at our summary. Create your SlitherSense account, install the application, install the devices, turn everything on, connect your gateway to Wi-Fi, claim your sensors by tapping on them in the app, create a pet, associate the pet and all of the sensors to a particular vivarium in the various zones, specify your maximums and minimums for temperature and humidity, save it, and it will just run. Whenever those thresholds are violated, you will receive an alert. This documentation here at docs.slithersense.com has all of the information that I didn't cover in this video. Take a look at other videos that we post as well. We'll be talking about all these various features in the app. Also, if you have any questions, if we look down here at the bottom of our list, we have Get Help. You can feel free to reach us on email, Discord. There is a subreddit as well. So if you have any problems, any questions, feel free to get in touch.